Coming up on this edition of Sports Extra, a week after being benched, Marquise Williams squashes any thoughts of a quarterback controversy with a record-breaking win against Georgia Tech.
Volleyball is on a tear, sweeping the competition out of Carmichael. Are the Heels setting things up for an ACC run?
And get ready to embrace the dark side. No, I'm not talking about Sith versus Jedi. I'm talking about some discs. All that and more. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Hello there, and welcome to Sports Extra, the UNC Media and Journalism School's only sports talk, highlights, and analysis show. I'm Luis Fernandez.
And I'm Jordan Black. It was an excellent sports weekend for Carolina. Just about every sport for UNC won, including one pretty big game in Georgia. For the first time since 1997, I think it's safe to say it was a fun trip to Atlanta for Carolina football. You know who else had fun? Our Paul Beam. Before we talk about the game, we're going to catch up with Paul, who made the trip down to ATL with the marching band. He was living large in the Peach State in a new Sports Extra special we like to call Heels on the Bus.
What's up, guys? The Heels are in hot Atlanta. Well, it's not really hot. It's kind of cold and rainy, but let's go check it out. Standing outside the College Football Hall of Fame, maybe Ryan Switzer will be here someday when he breaks that punt return record.
We're here at the world-famous Varsity, where I got the quintessential meal, got the Big V cheeseburger, some onion rings, and a frosted orange. About to take a bite. Oh, this looks so good. Oh, it's so good.
Weekend. The Heels' next road trip is October 29th to Pittsburgh. I wonder if there are any extra seats on the band bus.
All right, now that we've officially built up the hype, let's take a look at what happened against Georgia Tech on Saturday with a little commentary from you, the fans. Things got off to an awfully ugly start. Georgia with run after run after, wait for it, run. The Yellow Jackets ran 24 straight times to start the game. At Ian McClin tweets, ban the triple option. You know what? I couldn't agree with you more, Ian. Things got even worse after that. The Yellow Jackets took a 21-0 lead after this Justin Thomas run on 4th and goal. UNC Media and Journalism professor John Robinson tweets, at 21-0, I guess I'll go back to grading. Might as well read the work of UNC students who know how to score. Spitting straight fire, Professor Robinson. Things turned around at the end of the half, though. 2 TDs in 1 minute and 25 seconds for Carolina, including that Marquise Williams run. Heels back in it. Carolina kept clawing and fighting until Larry Fedora pulled this trick play out of his fedora. Quinshot Davis to Marquise Williams, classic combo. Twitter blew up. Langston Taylor says it all in 2 words. Hurricane Joaquise. Carolina holds on to win 38-31, and former UNC defensive end Kareem Martin had to add in his own little bit. He said, it's lit. Now, it's not exaggerating to call this the most adversity the Tar Heels have ever faced in a win. UNC came back from 21 points down in the first half, setting a new record for largest comeback in school history. The previous record was 17 points, which the Heels came back from against, you guessed it, Georgia Tech in 1987 and Virginia in 1997.
Joining us now is football analyst Amanda Lee. Thanks for being here, Amanda.
Thanks for having me. We sure do have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, for real, Amanda. You know, what a time to be a Tar Heel, am I right? Or specifically to be Marquise Williams.
Yeah, tell me about it. Marquise Williams definitely proved why he's the starting quarterback. Williams only passed for 134 yards on Saturday, but he made his biggest impact on the ground. He had a career-high 148 rushing yards and found the end zone twice. Well, 3 times if you include that 37-yard touchdown pass from Quinshot Davis. Williams led the team in passing, rushing, and receiving yards against Georgia Tech. Talk about a triple threat. Williams is slowly creeping up on a huge record here at Carolina. Marquise Williams scored his 69th career touchdown on Saturday, which is just 10 shy of the school record of 79, set by Darian Durant in the early 2000s. Williams had 43 passing touchdowns and 26 rushing. Williams has averaged 1.8 TDs per game during his Carolina career. If he maintains that average, he needs 6 more games to break the record.
You know who really stood out on the other side of the ball? Kason Collins.
Oh, no doubt about it. I felt like he was flying all over the place on Saturday.
Yeah, you got that right. Collins had 2 plays in particular that made this a huge difference in the game. Early in the fourth quarter, Collins caused this fumble that Junior Nonconde picked up and returned for 20 yards. Carolina scored a touchdown on the next play. Collins also had this huge hit on a 3rd down. Yeah, we're going to need to see that one again. Collins picks up the Georgia Tech running back and slams him to the ground. I could watch that all day. The sophomore from Charlotte finished with a career-high 10 tackles. For just the second time in 15 years, the Tar Heels have started ACC play with a win. After the bye week, the Heels have 7 more conference games on the schedule. Those teams are a combined 19 and 13, which isn't exactly impressive if you consider soft non-conference schedules. Carolina's biggest test could be the Blue Devils, as Duke currently leads the division with a 2-0 record in the ACC. The Heels will host Duke on November 7th in a game that may prove to be pivotal in the Coastal race.
That stretch for most of October seems pretty winnable for Carolina.
But Pitt, Duke, and Miami back-to-back-to-back is going to be so difficult.
Yeah, all those teams only have 1 loss each. That's really tough. But, they'll be battle-tested for sure. Football analyst Amanda Lee, thank you so much.
Comebacks like the one on Saturday require a lot of mental toughness, and players have to be physically prepared too. A lot of that starts with nutrition, the fuel they put in their bodies. I took a look at what UNC players put in to get good energy out. The Tar Heel nutrition staff has meal planning down to a science, a system of dots, signs, tests. It's all in an effort to ensure that the team is fueled on game day. Kelsey Gomez's day revolves around football and food.
As they're coming in, I'll start to check in with them to see how their weights are doing.
And then she continues monitoring players throughout breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Caesar salad?
Determining what they must eat to gain, lose, or maintain their weight.
And so we have a unique dot system that is in here with red dots, meaning they're like our heavy or for our hard gainers, and then our green dots, which are going to be more of our lean options. So I'll make sure everything's labeled correctly.
Green dots are the focus of linebacker Shaquille Rashad, who has cut 20 pounds since his position changed to outside linebacker.
And this year I had to get down to like 230, so it was pick vegetables, or fruits, coconuts, whatever this is, and just eat more of that so I can lose weight and kind of be lighter for my new position.
The players receive 3 meals a day from their dining hall to training table, snack bags for gaining weight, and protein supplements from their fueling station.
Shakes are going to be more of our weight gain.
And when the Heels have success with the food pyramid, they find success on the field. After a Saturday win, the team puts aside the dot system to enjoy a victory dinner. Last week's came complete with crab legs.
I thought it was very good. I kind of disregarded what Kelsey's little voice in my head a little bit, because I would enjoy it.
Enjoying, but still working hard. This scientific eating method sure seems to be paying off. Aren't you all hungry now? Those long, drawn-out physical games like the one at Georgia Tech made Carolina players have to think about staying hydrated as well. We'll take a more in-depth look at the new hydration testing system next week.
Now, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the fall and winter, you'll find plenty of people gathered around watching one sport we've been talking about a lot, football. But sometimes we have to put our fandoms aside because, this American tradition can have some serious consequences that affect the health of those involved.
Number 33 Nathan Staub was a linebacker for the UNC football team. Unfortunately, his college playing career was cut short due to injuries. Not a bad knee or a tweaked shoulder, but concussions. It's something he's dealt with ever since high school. And we're playing in the Georgia Dome. And in the second quarter, at the beginning of the second quarter, I looked over to someone and said, "Where am I?" If you're in the Georgia Dome, you should know where you are. After a loss to Rutgers last December in the Quick Lane Bowl, Staub made the decision to hang up his cleats for good. Mom, I've passed all the tests, and she looks at me and she says, "Nathan, so are we waiting for you
to have permanent brain damage for sure before you stop playing.
Stories like Staub's have become all too common in football over the past decade. According to a PBS study, there have been 484 concussions reported in the National Football League since 2012. Numbers like this have caught the eye of Associate Professor at the UNC Gilling School of Global Public Health, Louis Margolis. On some Saturdays, you can see Margolis picketing football games outside of Kenan Stadium in an attempt to, as he puts it, educate the fans.
I'm concerned because we don't know what's going to happen down the road.
Margolis says encouraging people to play football is like rooting for people to smoke.
But we don't gather people together to cheer people on in their smoking. We say, let's prevent smoking. Let's do what we can to prevent what we know will have long-term harmful effects.
PhD student Michael Clark works at the G. Feller Sport-Related Traumatic Brain Injury Research Center, working directly with student athletes dealing with concussion symptoms. Clark agrees with Margolis football can be very dangerous when it comes to head trauma, but concussions in other sports and activities happen often too and should get more focus.
You know, everyone on the football field is wearing a helmet, but some of the rates that you see for number of helmets worn while bicycling, are less than half.
Staub knows all this, but if he had the chance to do it all again, he wouldn't change a thing.
You can't protect your kid from everything, and football teaches you so much, and the risk is there, but there's risk in everything.
But will it be a risk the rest of the world is willing to accept?
Clark said that so far this fall semester, the G. Feller Center has seen about a dozen concussion-related injuries. Half of them are from football. Flooded field, hurricane-force winds, an undefeated ACC opponent. Could women's soccer stay undefeated?
Find out when Sports Extra returns.
Iconic coach Dean Smith once said, "This isn't a basketball school, it's a women's soccer school." The Tar Heels are making believers of their opponents. The wet conditions forced #1 ranked North Carolina to host Boston College off-site at Cedar Falls Park. Even the girls were trying to stay dry. I guess the rain jackets weren't enough. Look at the size of that umbrella. Let's get to some action. The Tar Heels strike first as sophomore Jessica Scarpa finds forward Alexa Newfield for her 7th goal of the season. Things were getting a little physical. Check out this BC forward after she took a serious blow to the face. Yikes. Slip turf made it tough for players to stay on their feet again and again and again. Except on this play when Carolina adds to its lead when Joanna Boyles converts from way out to make the final score 2-0. Heels are now 11-0-1.
The men's soccer team traveled to Pitt to take on the Panthers on Friday. Since Pitt joined the ACC in 2013, Carolina has yet to lose to the Panthers, holding them to 0 goals in that span. Was it more of the same for the Heels? The game remained scoreless late until Colton Storm found the back of the net on this delicately placed shot to the bottom corner. If one is good, then more is better. Super sub Tucker Hume made it 2 for the Heels as he scored his team-leading 5th goal of the season in the 87th minute. Take another look at this rifle that straight punishes the side netting. Final score, Carolina 2, Pittsburgh 0.
The Tar Heels dominated the net in front of a packed Carmichael Arena and defeated the Blue Devils in straight sets on Friday night. In the first set, senior Paige Neuenfeld went into full gear, striking 3 straight kills that led to the 26-24 set win. Fellow senior Lee Andrew came out for the second set on fire, pacing the Heels with 5 kills in the set. The Heels dropped the Devils 25-12 in the final frame to complete the sweep. You know what? And any win against Duke is sweet indeed. The team served up another sweep Saturday night against Wake Forest. It was a total team effort against its ACC foe as veteran players set the pace early on. The Tar Heels dominated with a season-high 15 blocks with help from plays like that one by Victoria McPherson. Taylor Treacy shined offensively in the second and third sets and finished with 10 kills. Carolina moves to 3-1 in ACC play and 6-7 overall. Streaky on the road, dominant at home. The Carolina volleyball team has been absolutely dominant at home recently. In the past 3 home matches against Michigan, Duke, and Wake Forest, the Heels have had 3 sweeps. After the win Saturday, the Heels captured their, get this, 18th straight ACC win at home. It's pretty impressive. The next home match is Friday against Virginia.
Late student body president Eve Carson exemplified the Carolina way with a positive and bright attitude that could shine through a rainy day.
The event held in her honor next on Sports Extra.
UNC field hockey traveled to third-ranked Virginia Friday and made a major statement. The Heels poured it on the Cavs with an 8-3 win in a driving rainstorm. Gab Major led the way for Carolina with a school record 5 goals, all a part of a 7-0 opening run for UNC. The Heels will return home to play Longwood on Friday.
A little rain and wind couldn't stop runners from attending one of campus's most popular annual events. Roughly 1,300 people registered for the Eve Carson Memorial 5K Saturday morning despite a heavy downpour. Walkers and runners moved through UNC's campus to honor the memory of Eve Carson, the former student body president who was shot and killed in 2008. Money raised for the event contributes to the Eve Carson Memorial Scholarship, awarded to juniors annually. Supporters cheer on runners as they finish the race on the lower quad. This year marks the 8th running of the event.
The women's lacrosse team kicked off its fall exhibition season Friday against Winthrop in dry conditions. Due to bad weather, the game was moved indoors to the Eddie Smith Fieldhouse. The Tar Heels show off their stick skills against the Eagles and score 6 goals like that one there. Sydney Holman charges in before passing the ball to Sammy Jo Tracy, who takes a hit and rips a tough outside shot against a Winthrop defender. The team's season doesn't start until early 2016, but this top-ranked freshman class already looks eager to begin. The teams didn't keep score during this exhibition match.
You know, it's not every day that you hear of an athlete giving up the dream of playing on a D1 tennis team to focus on academics. But UNC junior Sarah French made that choice. Our Samantha Ward has more.
Given the choice to be a D1 athlete or be on a club team, which would you pick? UNC junior Sarah French turned down an offer to walk on to a D1 tennis team in exchange for more time to play and focus on her academics.
But I wasn't sure if I wanted it anymore because if I was going to be so committed but not be playing a lot in matches and stuff, I didn't know if I was willing to sacrifice my academic studying just to focus on tennis and not play as much.
French attended the University of Oregon her freshman year, but after realizing it wasn't the right fit for her, she transferred to UNC and joined the club tennis team.
It's always hard going to a new place when you don't know anybody, and club tennis was a great way to get to know people, and I really found a niche and a great group of friends.
And the level of competition of the team doesn't hurt either. Last year at Nationals, the club team placed 3rd overall. Looking back, French doesn't regret turning down the opportunity to play on a D1 team and is happy to have found a home with the UNC club tennis team.
I worked so hard and I could have played, but I really think that I made the right decision just playing club, and it's been so fun, and it's really helped me acclimate here well to UNC, and it's very fun, and I love everybody, and we're a great big family.
And that, for her, is the best of both worlds. In Chapel Hill, I'm Samantha Ward, reporting.
You know, talking about those nationals that they placed 3rd overall at, it was actually French and 9 other members of the club team that made it. That's pretty impressive. Now, moving to another team, the UNC women's golf team has 9 young players, and 3 of them come from other continents. Our Zhan Zhang takes a look at one European player's transition to being a Tar Heel.
Leslie Klutz of the women's golf team is one of the athletes bringing an international flair to UNC athletics. The native of Belgium has been a Tar Heel for 3 years.
I was playing a tournament at Germany and I saw this lady with Carolina Blue and I was like, oh, which university is that?
So it was love at first sight. Coming to a different country on your own can be difficult, but for Leslie, it wasn't a problem.
Golf is a pretty international sport, so coming here it was pretty easy to transition socially and academically as well, as I've been traveling through high school.
Leslie adapted well to her new life, and the supportive teammates and coaches contribute to making being on the UNC team a rewarding experience.
The family atmosphere for us is extremely important. Number one, for me personally, I'm going to be working with these young ladies for 4 years, and to be able to communicate with them openly and honestly, you have to have that family concept.
I love our coach. Coach Mann is a great person. She's very kind, very caring. I think our team is very close. It's like a family. We come here every day. We see each other almost every day for 5 hours.
I love the team. The team really do become your closest friends and like family. And we do really care about each other, which is important.
And that approach might entice other international players to bring their talents to Chapel Hill. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jen Zhang reporting.
Carolina's other 2 international players come from England and China. And fun fact of the day, the word bogey in Chinese is buozi. Yeah, bet you didn't know that. You're welcome. No, it is not another terrible Transformers sequel.
We catch up with the dark side of Ultimate Frisbee as the team goes for the repeat. What's harder than winning 1 championship? Seth Pyle says the answer is obvious, winning 2.
The UNC Ultimate Frisbee Club team is the reigning national champion. Now the Darksiders are rebuilding and rearming themselves to defend their title.
I mean, we have 17 guys that returned from last year's national championship team, as well as a host of rookies that are extremely talented. And I think we do a good job with development every year.
Although expectations are high, there is an understandable level of reality among the veterans.
I think that maybe this year we'll struggle a bit at first, but I think once we get into a good rhythm, we'll be one of the better teams in the nation. And then in the next few years, I expect us to at least come very close to repeating, if not repeating it. So
that's a goal they all share.
Winning my first year leaves me with some interesting expectations, I guess. We lost a lot of talent, but there's definitely still potential for us to win again while I'm in college. So I don't know. I definitely hope to be back in the national championship game someday.
Wanting to win and actually winning are 2 different things. But one thing is certain: the Darksiders have the drive and determination to do it again. In Chapel Hill, I'm Seth Pyle reporting.
Dang, Ultimate's always seemed like a fun sport to play. Have you ever played Ultimate before, Joanne?
I have not ever played Ultimate Frisbee.
No? Really? How about any sports in high school, or what was your situation?
You know, I always wanted to, and my size just doesn't really let me. When you're 5 feet, you just can't be that good at sports, but I did do cheerleading.
Yeah, well, size isn't everything, okay? I'm 6 feet, and I'm not good at sports at all. I'm all lanky, falling all over the place, but it's okay.
A fun fact, I did play a little bit of football for my high school powder puff team. I was center, and it didn't turn out that well. We won, but it wasn't because of anything I did. I'll say that much.
Oh, that's kind of awkward, but I mean, that's okay. I coached a powder puff team in high school. We won, even though it was fixed. Seniors always have to win. Don't tell anyone. Enloe football people might come and get me, but that's okay. No, but it's really interesting, just the whole aspect of playing, Ultimate and games like that with intramurals. People get pretty intense and pretty competitive.
I heard you had a big intramural game yesterday.
Yeah, I did. We lost, but it's whatever. All right, that does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night.